Good afternoon. I'm Daniel Miller, and this is the Gaming Dialogue News. A warm welcome to all of our friends, fans, community members, participants, and everyone watching us worldwide on a variety of different platforms. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for supporting our channel, everything we do here. Thank you for supporting our charitable fundraiser for the Mind charity, a UK-based charity that helps people with mental health difficulties. And thank you for doing all the follows, likes, shares, and everything else, which is just raising the profile and bringing in a lot more interest for the campaign as well as the charity. So thank you for that, and look forward to seeing many more of you joining us yet again for what we consider to be a very, very noble cause. This channel has been affiliated with several charities, and as you know, our creed is to be supporting the people in our communities who actually require our help. People are more vulnerable, people suffering from disability, illness, or any other misfortune, and therefore we are running this campaign presently here. Hopefully by doing the shares and likes and everything else, we are going to be raising the profile of both the charity and the campaign, and therefore we'll get some more interest, more donations, and therefore we are going to be making the charity fully functional and helping them to carry on, to develop, to evolve, to bring in new people, to open new offices, to select volunteers, you know, all of that. Anyway, a very good day today, very warm day as well. We are experiencing a bit of summer here in our local area. It's been very, very hot during the last couple of days, exceeding 27, 28 degrees of Celsius, and very enjoyable. So as I completes my news today, I'll go out for a lengthy stroll, have a nice dinner in the neighbouring town, and enjoy the lovely weather, enjoy a bit of sunshine, fresh air. We have a wonderful riverside walk which connects two of our towns together, and you know, the best possible day for doing that sort of thing. So today's news are going to be a bit briefer, shorter, and I guess maybe a bit more crisp in terms of what we are to be discussing. And I want to thank, first of all, to our community members who were listening to the news yesterday, and I think some of them also communicated via a couple of other platforms which are not Twitch, and that is Twitter and Instagram. And thank you for your private messages as well, which I usually receive on my email. All of that is really in response to our discussion about Destiny. Destiny as it stands today, and we yesterday talked about this week in Destiny, the big rundown that we receive every single week from Bungie. And I just told you about certain activities that we had been engaging with and things we did here during the last 7 days. Some of it was online as I streamed, some of my activity, others were just conducted with our community members outside of the usual Twitch remit, and a lot of fun for me. I like Onslaught, and I like all the other activities which are given to us together with the rewards. But some questions were really, I guess, directing, well, they were directed at Bungie and asking questions about what is to follow with the final shape and the new format and the structure. So I really can't give you more specific answers. It's very difficult for me to know what will be happening as we get the new DLC and the chapter or the saga between the darkness and the light will be ending. It's very hard to tell what direction, well, we hear from Bungie what they will be doing, but I'm not 100% sure that I really understand all of it. We've known the concept of seasonal content given to us every 3 months, and 3 or 4 months, I think, varied over the years. And then we had the idea that we are collecting various mods from artifacts and then getting loot through the leveling up on the seasonal content, seasonal rewards, etc., etc. And I think there's a bit of concern coming from Joel, from Sammy, from Jessica, from Tim and Thomas. Thank you for your messages. That perhaps the concept will be diluted and they'll progress towards something that will monetize more in view of the anticipation that we'll have episodes every single month and new things offered. And you know, friends, this is just speculations. This is very hard to know for us what will be happening next. I think we have to be basically patient. We need to sit tight and see what Bungie is going to be providing us with as the new expansion comes out. What we can say is that the new format will certainly be more aligned, more tied in with the narrative, with the story. So Destiny will take a different direction, and I feel that the idea is for the game to be progressing down the route of Mass Effect and Starfield, maybe not with such rich narrative, maybe not with so many NPCs and so many activities which are purely based on dialogue, because don't forget, this is a shooter and we have a lot of enemies to eliminate, as well as raids and waves of enemies swarming everywhere in battlefields, battlegrounds, in various other activities like Altars of Sorrows, and recently what we had in Into the Light as well, with Onslaught. And that's what I know. And I know that every month there's going to be something new given to us. But, you know, month after month, if you're getting new content, it'll be tied in with story missions. We'll get new loot, we'll get new characters. There are going to be some new participants in Destiny as well. As you know, sadly, the actor who was giving us the voice of Zavala passed away recently. That's Lance Reddick, and he had been replaced by a new actor who will be doing something very similar. And I've heard some of his voiceovers, which I thought were excellent and very, very close to what we had from Riddick. You know, he will be sorely missed forever, because his Zavala is the best, and we loved that Zavala right from the beginning. And but you know, that's just one of those big changes which we certainly can anticipate, has been already mentioned a little while back. And then there are going to be some new maps for the PvP. We've heard that we are going to be having these exotic class items, and they will be coming in abundance. There's quite a few. We're going to be able to, excuse me, we're going to be able to bring in, I think, double items at times, and then swap them around and do various things, like I described yesterday in my rundown. So I guess that's one of the biggest things, the new exotic class items. And I think in my mind, in response to your questions, I'm wondering whether the crafting of weapons will be, again, something that they'll pay more attention to, as you pick up ordinary weapons and exotics and legendaries through gameplay. But then if you want to craft some of them, the ones which have got the capacity to be enhanced and improved, you are going to be getting something very mighty. You know, it's for hardcore veterans. A lot of people, I appreciate that some of our friends who are sending messages are the veterans of Destiny, who've been with us, if not from the day one, but certainly for quite a few years. People play Destiny every single day with their friends. For them, Destiny is a major social network. And I think that's absolutely fantastic, wonderful. And don't forget that if you are doing it like that, just make sure you grow your community. Set up a Twitch channel or run a community on Twitter or Instagram or Discord, and bring in new people and become a tutor. You know, become like an expert, a teacher, a coach for those who are pretty new. And I'm quite certain, in view of Pantheon and various other additions that we've been hearing from Bungie, that there are going to be quite a few new people of younger generation coming in as the Final Shape gets launched, and we've got to be ready to help. We've seen also the introduction of Fighting Finder. I think it generally works really well. It does provide us with a brand new option, through which, if you are not having a moment where you can bring anyone in, you can still rely on those postings on the server, and you can join other teams and again have a very enjoyable group activity, which I think is essential for anything in Destiny. Destiny is a game that needs to be played with a group and with other people in order to be as effective and, most importantly, as enjoyable. And yeah, so just remember, that's the way forward. Don't just hammer certain activities day and night, hoping to get the best scores. Just consider those other people who are coming in, and other participants who will need a lot of assistance. You know, Destiny is quite complex when it comes to the collection of armor, modding, and the abilities. It does require coaching. I think anyone popping in out of the blue will not understand exactly how this is done. In fact, I come across 3 people recently who were not familiar with Infusion. That you can level up weapons. I guess in The sequel, that maybe is not as significant as you're getting quite a lot of loot all the time, but in Destiny 1 it was fundamental that you pick up some items that were not of interest and you would just simply level up by infusing. And you should really do as much of that as possible, even if it's like a notch up, as you will liberate your vault from unnecessary loot. And like I said yesterday to Tom, I felt what I want to keep in the vault is just deep sight weapons, you know, which can be enhanced, and then exotics and some legendaries and my favorite loadouts, and that's it. The rest I don't want to keep. Don't want to be a hoarder, and you know, it just gives me a major headache. And also, it does take time to be doing your admin. You know, we fill it up, then you got to go back and decide what is to be kept and what is to be discarded. Just you know, sometimes you like certain pieces because they look good, and they're not particularly powerful, and vice versa. You know, there are some of the other ones that you're not very keen on, and they're actually very essential for your abilities. Anyone new, just keep an eye out for your mobility, for your discipline, for your resilience, because these are the areas which will have to be enhanced by the mods, and therefore you'll be more powerful when meeting certain enemies, and very important for PvP as well. And they talked about PvP being different and changed. So I know that I played with Suckerpoop a couple of times of late, so it was within the last couple of months, and I did notice that the experience of the opponents was leveled up according to the most powerful participant in my crew, which was Suckerpoop. And that was causing concern, because I'm not really a great Crucible player. I don't really like the activity too much. You know, I'm not very keen on deathmatch maps. I much prefer wider maps like PUBG and Warzone, for instance, Apex to a degree, where you can really strategize and have tactics and work together with your crew. And you know, it's a lot more enjoyable. It requires a lot more brain work than just simply bang bang kill kill. And I didn't really enjoy the fact that it was automated, and everyone else joining randomly was leveled up according to the best or the most capable, the most powerful member of my team, and I was Suckerpoop. So I'm not sure whether they will do away with this, or whether there is going to be another system. Hard to tell really, but let me just check something quickly. Yeah, and you know, remains to be seen. I just feel that for anything which is PvP, you need to have like an arena which is easily accessible to everyone, and everyone's on the same footing without any extras. Because obviously, if somebody spent 10 years playing Destiny, or 8 years, or 7 years, or whatever, and they have a very, very mighty kit, that will be affecting the abilities to tackle those opponents in a deathmatch. That may not be the case in a game that has a very, very big map. There'll be other factors in there through which you'll get eliminated. Primarily, and the key obviously is your orchestrated joint teamwork. But coming back to the questions about the changes, there was one question, I think it was from Jessica, saying I couldn't get to play in one of the maps which was introduced last week. And of course last week I played all three, and let me just see, we have, just bear with me, let me just get the maps up. One moment. Well, there are three, and you have got to be patient, as the algorithm will be just simply selecting the maps for you, and sometimes you get the same map 3 or 4 times in a row, which really is not what we want to see. We want to see the continuous changes, so you can get like literally 3 separate maps one by one, but that doesn't always happen. And sometimes you're slotted in and you play with others, you're being thrown into somebody else's match, which is obviously a concern to me as well. But I tried the maps. I found them to be beautiful, you know, well designed, yet again very similar to all the other maps we experienced. There's nothing of a major change. You know, the concept of hardcore deathmatch had been there from the beginning, and I guess it's similar to what you had in the original Halo trilogy. You know, it's a lot of death matches and tiny little maps through which you were battling the opponents, and it's just adrenaline fueled. It's for people who like that degree of competition. So the addition of the maps is significant because these are the new maps which we've not played before, and it does make a difference. I think some people have their favorite spots and they hide and they do various things. I've seen people hiding there with snipers and their favorite weapons. It is just a question of waiting and having that patience. I know it's annoying as you have one of the quests in which you need to be completing all 3 maps 2 times, and it drives you to play again and again, and that's something I don't like. I think you need to be driven to play the game because you really like it, rather than a task which is like a magnet pulling you back in. And the other news was about Pantheon with another boss emerging, the Taken King. I think people remember the Taken King from the original Destiny. It was, I guess for me, one of the best battles in the expansion of the same name. And, it was just very important at the time to have your full team on board. And it's exactly the same today for anyone who's playing Pantheon. And so that's really cool. So coming back to the questions, I think we are kind of looking forward to Gauntlet. It's coming back for its 10th anniversary, and then also the most important thing for everyone, if you are playing Destiny on a variety of different platforms, is that everything is now free of charge, fully accessible until the launch of Defining Shape. So let's say, like myself, if you played on PlayStation or Xbox and you had everything, all the content on just one of those 2, now is the time to catch up on another platform. Let's say if you had everything on Xbox, you can now migrate to PlayStation, do it all there, and vice versa. Obviously you have your cross-platform saves, but the content is there for you to try. You can see whether it works differently for you, whether it's better graphics or whatever, because some people still have Xbox One, the old gen console, and then PlayStation 5, or vice versa. PlayStation 4, like what I did have until recently, and then Xbox Series S and X, and there is a big difference. I absolutely encourage you to try Destiny on the latest state-of-the-art console. Everything is better, from the sound quality to picture being razor sharp, the graphics are mouth-watering, but most importantly, it doesn't have the same visual effect. It doesn't have that lag that sometimes you would get with older consoles. And by mentioning the lag, I mean it's not that it's laggy and breaking up. The lag is in the FPS area, the number of frames that you get, and therefore the movement is more placid, more fluid, and you get also less of photosensitivity if you are, sometimes a bit sensitive to bright lights, flashing lights, bright colors, etc. So it really works a lot better, and I've played it extensively now, PlayStation 5, and it's just a true joy to watch, to be a participant, so most highly recommend it. And I'd just like to hear also from others about your experience of PvP, whether you feel that this was a good inclusion and really like the maps. And in addition to that, I did say yesterday, for those people who are wanted to hammer the maps, we have, I posted the design, the exact plan of these maps on my Twitter, so just have to browse to the tweets and you'll find them there. All 3 maps were designed by one of the Destiny community members. He's not a member of our community, but he had produced it beautifully, and it's a very good tool for anyone who is very much interested in doing the PvP and also doing it successfully on those new maps. You heard about those 3 exotic class items, and they're all coming from the prismatic subclass, and they all come together with the final shape. So there's a lot of anticipation, a lot of hype in relation to that, and you will be able to unlock those new activities after the raid world first, and that's at the beginning of week 2. So have to be patient. You play the campaign first, and you'll get to that eventually. And they didn't want to tell us much about it, and there is quite a lengthy list of that on Bungie's website. So if you want to see what these ones are, what kind of effects they will be having, instead of me telling you like Warlock Exotic Band Solipsism, and then you have Titan Exotic Mark Stoicism, Hunter Exotic cloak essentialism. So you could see it's kind of tied in with the spirit, the character of that Guardian. And then I guess doing the Pantheon in the course of this week, or last couple of weeks, is giving us also an extra muscle in order to enter the future raids or any other endgame activities. And I think generally from what I hear, people had enjoyed these activities. They've been really hectic and definitely very, very much of interest to everyone. Then you have all the deep sight weapons, and very important to keep the ones that got that, you know, red bars, and you can obviously level them up. And I have my glaive to, I can't even remember what level it is. It's very, very high. I did have a problem with glaive. It was extremely mighty for quite some time, and then they kind of decreased the power, so it's not as mighty. It doesn't have any more the same ability with the long range shots, and it does work still on melee. If you are being hit by swarming enemies, just use it for that. You'll clear everything up with ease. But if you want to be engaging distant enemies, you'll have to go for snipers or fusion rifles. You know, the glaive is not going to be cutting it for you. They're also giving us, in addition to free access to the campaigns of Lightfall and Witch Queen and Beyond Light, they're giving us access to all the loot and all the content that was given to us in the course of the last 12 months with 4 seasons. It's more than 12 months, but 18 months or so. And that's cool. You know, if you want to chase up any of the items, now's the time. And all of that is accessible until the 4th of June. So that's really excellent. And just to put it in perspective, so for instance, if you want to get these rewards, there are specific activities which you need to be doing in order to pick them up. So for instance, Season of Defiance will have Mission Avalon and Defiant Battlegrounds. And you know, Battlegrounds are always great to watch, always great to experience. So if you're away from Battlegrounds for a while, then that's definitely something you should really re-engage with. And then Season of the Deep, they have deep dives and salvage, and you know why that is. Season of the Witch, summoning pools and Saboteur Spire. And then Season of the Wish, it's Riven Slayer and the Coil. So any of those activities, you get in, you do them repetitively, and you'll be getting that high quality loot. So we talked about well, everything yesterday, so I'm just reflecting on the questions that come in, and I'm really grateful to Tom and Jessica and other friends who were just, you know, sending us messages. And great to see that you guys are not just watching this live, but also raking it up through Twitch and YouTube through video on demand playback. And that's exactly what I wanted to achieve with my new podcasting format of the news and other topics. And so trying to think what, yeah, that the maps you talked about, Jessica, are Eventide Labs and then Cyrus Plaza and Dissonance. And I think it was, can't remember now which one was harder to get when I played. I think it was Cyrus Plaza. Yeah, Eventide Labs and Dissonance I was getting with these constantly. And the last one just didn't want to pop up, so it was similar sort of problem. I guess it's server based, and you gotta be patient and do it together with your mates. You know, have it, you know, maybe in a private match, get 6 people together and do like 3 versus 3. I guess the new maps and the activity reminds me a bit of Trials of Osiris. You know, it's a similar sort of thing, but maybe not as tricky, maybe not as deadly. The maps are, I guess, a bit bigger than the ones in the Osiris activity. So, and they're also set on Europa, Neptune, and the Pyramid Ship. So the Pyramid Ship I've not tried, so, you know, it's one of those, and you just have to be patient. And they're all inviting us now to jump into Destiny. So I think that there hasn't been a better time to do that. So lots of expansions. You have Beyond Light, you have Shadowkeep, you have the Witch Queen and Lightfall. In addition to that, you have some elements of Forsaken. You get all that loot from the last 4 seasons. So you can literally play it every day for a few hours and have a lot of enjoyable time with your friends. And try building your new communities, you know, with newbies and new people, and make sure that you provide them with some expertise and some tips and some views. And I learn every single day from my friends anytime we are doing Destiny together, be it on my Twitch streams or elsewhere. There's always that new knowledge to be acquired, and I think that's absolutely terrific. I really love it, and I'm very grateful to everyone who is indeed providing me with this every single day. So that's all really about Destiny, and yet again I want to thank our friends for taking time to write. It's great to see that some of our community members go back in time and dig up some of the old sessions of Destiny 1 through my YouTube channel archive. I archive everything that's been streamed, so everything we had Destiny-wise. There are some streams missing from, I think, February of 2020, and that is as I had Mixer. You know, I was trying the Mixer app that was given to us through Xbox, and it was a terrible, terrible app. It didn't work. It was an awful streaming platform, and they were not instantly recording sessions, and there was the need for all of that to be recorded on your PC, and then it would have been uploaded separately. It's just a complete nightmare, you know. It just didn't work at all, and many sessions were not recorded. And I think quite a few of those sessions were not Destiny streams. They were Halo and Apex and a few other ones. So anyone interested, you want to dig up what you were doing with me live online, just go to my YouTube channel. It's more than 1,000 videos there, and you know, just go by the dates. All of them have dates very clearly, dates clearly specified, and just go to that, and roughly, when you remember, if you remember the dates and times we were doing it, and you'll find it all there. And obviously what's happened in the meantime, I managed to get the latest state-of-the-art consoles, having better internet speed, so the quality of audio-visual presentation is significantly higher, although it's not as good as I would want it to be, as you know, still. But eventually we'll get there. I had actually messages indicated within the next 18 months we'll get to full fiber in the local area. So if that's the case, I'll resort to that, switch from the new ultra-fast internet on 4G. We still don't have 5G, but if we get 5G, it will be better, I think, picture quality and everything else. And the speeds will be massively accelerated. So hopefully, as we're getting our new multiplex cinema and theatre refurbed and rebuilt and opening up in August of 2024, so it's only a couple of months away, we are going to be getting that 5G. So that's also another bright light on my horizon ahead, and I look forward to that as well. Anyway, coming back to this, everyone can just join forces and join Destiny, try it and enjoy it and have as much fun as possible. Do not join the negativity that sometimes is persisting with some forums. I've seen some of it on Reddit and also on Twitter. I guess members who've been with Destiny for very many years got a bit frustrated, a bit annoyed, a bit felt that everything was a bit stale. But I've got to say, many had been reawakened and resurrected after the latest event had been introduced, and that's Into the Light. Everyone's loving it. I've not seen a single word of complaint, and definitely very, very good prelude, a prologue to what is to follow. I just think Bungie are under huge, huge pressure. They really feel that they've got to be delivering something absolutely amazing, and it's got to be as good as possible and better than ever before, and blah, blah, blah. You've heard it all. You know, it's a huge task, and if they deliver something which is as good as the Witch Queen, then it's fine. And if it's blending in well with the new monthly format, then that will be appreciated. I guess for myself, looking at the monthly turnaround, there is a greater scope for quicker changes. You know, the company, the developer will be able to apply changes because they generally do listen to the gaming community. But sometimes the gaming community has certain requests which are not practicable. You know, they can't execute for whatever reason, be it financial, human resources, or technical. Sometimes things are not possible to be developed as quickly as somebody would like. And we've heard from the executive team that they really wanted Destiny to be as it is today already in 2010. That's 14 years ago. But just technologically, that was not possible. You know, the tech was not there. And the direction they're taking is, I guess it's similar to Elder Scrolls Online. It's a massive, massive big universe with all of that content present within one big galaxy. And you want it to be like that, you know? I really want more of the story missions being fully integrated from Destiny 1, and I want the campaign and the narrative to be as clear-cut as possible. And I think eventually we'll get that. I'm quite certain. Destiny has a huge number of followers. I think together with Elder Scrolls and Halo, probably one of the Fallout now, of course, is the other big game. But the multiplayer games has a very, very large number of dedicated fans and veterans globally, and people are always looking forward to see what is going to be this sort of next addition to the arsenal or to the gameplay. And we've seen many very pleased souls after Into the Light was introduced. It's very, very refreshing, and probably the best experience of the game since the Witch Queen, and so a lot to look forward to. Alright, so that's all about Destiny. Once again, thanks to our community members for taking time to write. Always great to hear from you. Just want to say that as you're writing about Destiny, just make sure that people know that Bungie also has Bungie Foundation, and it's the section of the company that's dedicated to charitable fundraising. And we participated last year in the charitable fundraiser and raised about $100 through my channel, and together with other streamers we raised more than $1 million for St. Jude Hospital. And just join us. There's going to be another campaign in June, I think, and they also run a variety of different events in the meantime. I've seen that there will be in a few days. Told you all about this yesterday. Actually, I can't tell you about this today yet again. Let me just dig up the information. Take me a moment. Yeah, there we are. And they will be running the Gauntlet, which is celebrating 10 years of it. And that will be a charity tournament of tabletop games amongst the game industry professionals. So, for instance, if you're donating, you have an opportunity to, first of all, donate a certain amount. So, if, for instance, you donate $25, you will get a beautiful triumphant emblem. And it's not purchasable anywhere else. So, you donate it, you will get it. And don't think that the emblem costs $25. It doesn't. It's just a reward for your donation. Your donation is given to the Bungie Foundation in order to support children's hospitals that require the input in order to look after very ill children in lots of different ways. Most importantly, they provide technology, so that's tablets and consoles and anything else which will make children able to access games and online activity with others, their school friends, family members, friends from elsewhere, relatives. So therefore they do not feel isolated and alone and go to hospital to be treated for some very, very dangerous diseases. In some cases, the illnesses which are incurable. And it's a fantastic program. They raised a lot of revenue and they helped many, many children, not just in that hospital, but also USA-wide. And we all have to support it. So just remember, the rewards you get from them do not cost that amount. They're just simply rewards, and you're investing your revenue in the foundation in order to help those children. So $25 donation is that emblem, and then, for instance, if you were to be donating $100, you'll get program art. So it's the specially designed, curated art by the development team. You will get it, like when you're watching my news, you get concept art, bringing you back to the early days of Destiny 1, and you will be getting something of that sort delivered to you and produced by the team that's working on Destiny. So it's a personalized gift. And then for 500 donation, you will have the benefit of playing a game together with the Bungie team and the people who are creating the game. And you will have up to an hour of game activity, online game activity, and then some chat. But whatever you want to ask, really, and that will be all taking place on the May the 19th. So that is in a few days' time. So that's fantastic. Just remember, we are supporting charitable fundraisers, and it doesn't have to be just the one that I'm running on a channel. Tiltify supports many charities worldwide, and if you're interested, you can join our forces in order to, raise profile of certain charities and bring in some benefits to people who participate, who work for those organizations, as well as the service users. I mean, I supported already, let me think, several campaigns. We supported Bungie Foundation, supported Mind, and supported British Red Cross. And the Red Cross campaign was during the pandemic. It's absolutely fundamental that, we were able to give them some donations. They're very actively involved in the global war on the pandemic. And we had obviously completed that successfully with the invention of the vaccine, it's not all about the vaccine. You know, people suffer from the collateral isolation, loneliness, being cut off from others, and during the lockdown, people couldn't go out, couldn't visit their friends and relatives. And there are many, many different ways to which people could have been and had been helped. Also on this channel, we were running daily kind of combat COVID or anti-COVID sessions, and I still get messages from many people from any part of the world who watched our Warzone, Apex and Destiny stream during those times, joined forces with us, had a lot of fun, and just forgot about the fact that we were suffering from the lockdown. So I'm very, very grateful, and I had some people playing Warzone with us live online who were actually suffering from COVID, albeit not with very serious symptoms at the time before the vaccine was introduced. So, you know, we were obviously offering them major emotional support and offered any assistance and help, whatever they needed, as they were in other parts of the world. But, you know, we could do everything possible that is manageable by providing assistance online, and it was great. So, all right, so that's all about Destiny and our community members and everyone who has been indeed writing to us, and grateful to everyone. Thank you for that, and very grateful that you're supporting the fundraiser and also that you're still playing Destiny and looking forward to the final shape, just like myself. So we have a few news that had come to us on the wire. Just bear with me, I need to dig up everything and let us see. Yeah, we talked about these exotic perks, and yeah, one bit of news which is interesting is that in view of the Fallout release, the series on Amazon Prime Video, Fallout had been selling in a very, very big fashion, and that really was, I guess, embracing the older games, Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, which still, I think, are the most popular till the present day when it comes to the sales and how many people play them. And Fallout 4 also received the next-gen update recently, which didn't really perform too well within the first week, but I've seen that in recent days people reporting that all the bugs and problems had been resolved, and obviously having it for the next gen, the game will look a lot sharper, a lot better, brighter, better audio and everything else. But the main thing is that Fallout 4 was the best-selling game amongst all in the UK in April, so that's quite interesting. We've had other games come out, and we also have some games which are hotly anticipated, like for instance Hellblade, which will be out in a few days. And you know, they just managed to really create better sales than the games like EA Sports FC24 and Helldivers 2. I think Helldivers probably would have been selling better had there not been that controversy about everyone needing to have their PlayStation accounts set up and all this, and complete nonsense really. And Modern Warfare 3 and Grand Theft Auto 5. So, you know, these are the games which are right at the top of the list, but yeah, having that series just made it possible for them to get to the top, and it's huge hype about Fallout. Everybody wants the next installment, and they already had agreed to film the second season of the series, and puts me to shame. I talk so much about it, and I've still not watched the episodes, and believe you me, it's about 7-8 episodes. It's going to be one Sunday, maybe next week, when I'll make sure that I watch them back to back and tell you all about it. So that's on top of my list. I've not played Fallout 76 also for a while, and that also needs to be updated from my end. But you know, you've heard many times, I told you I play lots of games, and it's funny, I listened to what was it, Unlocked podcast yesterday, and they talked about well, all this trouble with it's actually the Unlocked from week before, when they talked about the indie games and Idea Xbox presentation. And one of the participants that are live on there is a lady who plays all games. So anything that comes to PlayStation 5, PlayStation Plus Premium or Xbox Game Pass, she immediately jumps on those titles and, you know, tries them. And I'm exactly the same. I do exactly the same. I don't play all the games, but I'll have a look. I'm interested to see what these games are about. And you have cutscenes, a bit of prologue. You enter, you play for about 20-30 minutes, and you get a very good impression of what these titles are offering to the gamers around the world. And she talked quite a bit about some of the games, and I feel pretty much the same. I feel there's so many titles out there that it's a bit hard to focus sometimes, and therefore you're going to step in, have a look, but maybe you will not come back to it immediately because there's other titles that you need to double check. And I really appreciate it. I mean, I remember the old days in the 90s, I would just like one PC game, just played back to back. The games were expensive, there weren't that many titles, there weren't that many developers. It's just a completely different era. It's a bit like 1970s with people in cars in Britain. Not as many people had cars compared to today. 1950s TV sets. As the industry develops and progresses, goes into mass production, then the products become cheaper. People, begin to buy, and then becomes widespread. Same with mobile phones. Same with everything, really. And it's astonishing how this industry of video gaming is evolving. It's honestly, it's defying belief to some extent. I couldn't believe that this is the direction that the industry would take, and I never thought I'd be able to enter my favorite graphic novels and become a participant and enjoy the open world activity. Just incredible. Anyone who is, I'm not really a huge fan of Marvel and DC comic strips and graphic novels, but there are some very good ones. But to be able to walk into the Guardians of Galaxy and Spider-Man and Avengers, and you become part of that world and enjoy it, it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience for anyone who likes that type of fantasy world, and anyone who's been digesting comics for years like myself. It's terrific. And then you find games like Mass Effect blending in with my favorite graphic novel, which is The Fall of Trigon Empire, and the best possible. It just, I remember years back, it was in 2006, 2007, I wanted to write to Cliff Bleszinski about Gears of War, needing to take direction so that they would be a bit like Trigon Empire. But guess what? BioWare, even without me writing, we're taking that direction. It's very, very similar. I guess Destiny does have a bit of Trigon Empire in it as well, with the Guardians and these sort of... we don't have as much of government compared to Mass Effect, because in there's this council that rules galaxy, and you have parliamentarians and various species. Anyway, one way or the other, these are the worlds which connect with my fantasies from my childhood, which were acquired and built on Don Lawrence's graphic novels, notably The Fall of Trigon Empire and then Storm. So anyone who is not familiar with these titles, dig them up. Just go to your Google and find out what these graphic novels were about. Absolutely incredible, and recommend them to literally every single citizen, every single inhabitant of the planet. You will love them. They really, when they came out, they were the first graphic novel which was hand-drawn in color, in full. And it looked like, illustrations for the fairy tales picture books from, let's say, 1920s, 1910s. And it's like high quality illustrations. And he was also making them on very, very large sheets. So the quality of it was incredible, and captivating colors and framing and everything was just out of this world. And for me, it was clearly a major influence, and I had collected all of them. They were coming out in dribs and drabs in every week, 3 or 4 pages, and then once I had all of them, I read them back to back several times. And in recent times they published them in the format of coffee table books. You can get them all through, I think, Titan Publishing, and definitely a sort of book which is worthy of your investment. Anyway, coming back to Fallout and what I've been describing. Yeah, they basically sold in a big way, and they are the best-selling game at the moment in Britain, and that's Fallout 4, which is surprising, isn't it? Fallout 4's been around for quite some time, and again, came back to the fore. So we have another Jurassic World game, and that's coming from Frontier. And I don't know whether you played some of them. They have been on Game Pass. Very enjoyable. I think if you're a fan of Ark, or if you're a fan of Jurassic World series in cinema, you will love these. And Frontier is the company behind the series, and that's Jurassic World Evolution. So they have a deal with Universal to create a new game. Obviously, all of them will always be tied in with Universal and the film studios for the obvious reasons. So that's a very good that's very good news, and we have a whole lot of information about this, and they're planning it for the fiscal year 2026. So that will be between halfway through the next year and then May of 26. And they're also working on 2 other games. So really good. And I'll be very, very curious to see what the new title is going to be like. I quite enjoyed the ones that I played on Xbox Game Pass. So what else do we have? Let's see. Some games have been confirmed for the inclusion on the Game Pass, and we have several coming out in June of 2024. So, Still Wakes the Deep, that is a first-person narrative horror game, and I'm not sure you're familiar, but I played Everybody's Gone to the Rapture a little while back. It's a very, very good game, and also happening sort of underwater, and then the Esther. And then the second game that's going to come out is called Rolling Hills Make Sushi, Make Friends. So you basically, similar to Overcooked or other places or other games, you will have your own restaurant, and you will be responsible for the meals and for cooking and for your customers. And I really like the idea. So that sounds very good. That's coming out on June the 4th, the same day when we are getting the final shape. So, and on the 18th of June, we'll have Still Wakes the Deep. So really, really good titles. Very excited about that. And just make sure that if you are a subscriber to PlayStation Plus Premium and Game Pass Ultimate, that when they introduce these games, at least have a look on the cloud to see what these games are like, because you are going to be supporting the developer and the publisher by doing so. Even better if you just download them, and if you're on fast fiber, it'll take you no time for smaller games, and just play them a bit, because by doing so you're supporting those developers, and that's really critical if you are wanting such services to carry on. And you know, there's no interest, then they'll stop doing the streaming services, and therefore we are not going to have access to these wonderful games on a subscription price, which will make a considerable difference to our budget. And I never enjoyed games better, I've got to say, since the invention of these streaming platforms, and I'm absolutely 1% in favor. I can see some pitfalls, some downturns, some difficulties when it comes to sales and the overall interest. I guess I talked about it here. For me, entering a streaming platform like, for instance, Netflix, Amazon Prime, I don't know, Game Pass, if you're looking at games, is similar to what you do if you go to multiplex. You know, they screen lots of films, and then you say, spend a whole day in cinema, watch 4 or 5 films. Well, the focus will be somewhat diluted, because you will watch that many films in the course of one day, and being able to remember everything will be difficult, and you will experience some problems in a longer term, purely by memorizing what you've seen, unless you're keeping notes or just doing that and nothing else in your life. And you know, the same sort of issue persists with that many titles, and inevitably you will not be able to play every single title back to back. But it gives you an opportunity to select what is actually tailored to your taste, and you can play exactly the games you like. And most importantly for me, every month I discover the titles I never heard of, which I really find exciting and enjoyable. And that's of huge benefit, you know. I would have never paid attention to these titles otherwise. They don't have major marketing budget, they don't come out through major publishers, and they produce incredible titles, wonderful games. So you can see, for instance, they talked so much about Vampire Survivors, and that's been one of the biggest hits on Xbox Game Pass for some time. It's a very simple game. It's just like literally retro graphics, and everything is sort of old school, but the activity is so captivating, and everyone said highly addictive. I didn't find it too addictive, but I quite enjoyed it. And the only thing you need to do is you need to walk your character. Everything else is automated, but you got to be evading hordes of enemies that want to kill you, and they kill you really fast. So you know, that is like a survival game, and very enjoyable, and everyone's doing it. Anytime I listen to any of the podcasts, even that completely, you know, unrelated to Xbox, they'll say, we really enjoy Vampire Survivors, that's such a good game. And you can play it I guess, on any platform. So make sure you try. Alright, so what else have we got? A few more news that would have come to us on the wire. And what are the best news on Xbox, which can be played on any platform, like a crossplay games? Well, I have some ideas, but let's see what Pure Xbox recommended. First of all, one of the biggest hits of the last few years, and certainly a very popular game, massively played by everyone today, is Among Us. And I don't know whether you tried it, and it is very, very popular. And you can play it with strangers and friends across multiple platforms. And the action, it's just really highly enjoyable, great fun for everyone. And you can just get the cross-play sessions on Xbox, and you get cross-platform saves. So, it is on Xbox Game Pass. And definitely try it or buy it. It's not very expensive. Then Apex Legends. It is cross-platform, but you have got to be. You can access the arena where others are going to be fully in it, coming in from the consoles and PCs. But if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm mistaken, if you're on PlayStation or Xbox, you can play against the guys who are on consoles, but you're not going to be getting anyone on PC. I need to double check, because I know that's the way it was initially. They could have changed in the meantime in order to beef up the number of participants, but certainly a very, very busy game. And they had just last week the introduction of the new Legend, so that's the playable character like a Guardian in Destiny, and that's been very, very popular. So if you've not tried it, doesn't cost you anything, it's free of charge. Step in and enjoy. Very, very good maps and thoroughly enjoyable team-based effort gameplay. Really enjoyed it from the beginning. Deep Rock Galactic. I played the game. I can't say I remember much of it, but again, it's cross-platform. Then obviously we have Destiny. Destiny is accessible on a variety of different platforms. Diablo 4, you see, Diablo 4 can be also accessed through PCs and consoles. Forza Horizon 5, and then you have Gears 5 as well. Well, I didn't realize that. I've got to say that's surprising. That's recent. And it's on Game Pass. Grounded as well. Played Grounded, very good game by Obsidian, still in development. Halo Infinite. And then you have Halo the Master Chief Collection. You could see the Microsoft and Xbox are really spearheading the effort of cross-platform access, because some of these titles were not cross-platform until quite recently, and that is what they see as future. They see that as literally the most important thing in the video game industry. So I completely agree. I don't think there's any way to which we can just backtrack and forget about streaming platforms and cross-platform access. It's not possible. The difference may be in the formats or the structures to which such services are likely to be provided. So it may not be that they'll retain the same format with, thousands of games or thousands of films. They may be more niche, maybe split into separate companies doing like a niche selection, and we already seen that on the stream platforms for films and television. They in the beginning, Netflix are literally everything, but they've gone to other companies developed, and they retain the rights to stream to their own platforms. So we need to wait and see. But still, I do not see as to why, any reason as to why such inventions could be placed on the back burner and ignored. I've heard our friends say frequently, we really want to buy physical products of these games. We want to have a disc, and a disc is always going to be with us. And, that's true. But don't forget, you can purchase Destiny on discs, and if you don't have access to the server, or the server goes dead, you won't be able to play it, because it is a live server game. So, it depends on what game you're considering. Single-player games, which are not based on live service, will always work on your discs unless physically the discs get damaged. So I can see some thinking behind it. But I have seen that there are games now being released without any physical copy, so it's just digital downloads. But, that's the future. We've got to accept that things are changing. And but I'm not saying that everything that's new is very good. It isn't. But I personally had experienced some of those interventions as being greatly positive for my gaming and for my involvement with the industries overall. Minecraft is the next game, Mortal Kombat, and that's about it, really. So these are the ones that they recommended for you to try if you want to be doing anything which is cross-platform. So the best games, according to them, are these, the ones I've just read out. In Britain, this week is the Mental Health Awareness Week, and I have been supporting Mind, as you know, and provided charitable fundraiser and donations and all sorts. And on my Twitter, you have also the links and the phone numbers to the charities that provide very valuable services to anyone who's experiencing any form of mental health difficulty. And I'll tell you which ones these are. Mind, to start with, which is the oldest and the biggest amongst the four. Then you have Mind provides you all sorts of advisory services, from counselling, which is individual and groups, to the advice on practical level. And then you can have your key worker or your counsellor who is in position to direct you towards other services. If, for instance, you are threatened with homelessness or you're suffering financial difficulties, etc. So it's a really a service which is fundamental to the mental health well-being of anyone living our local communities in Britain. We have Samaritans. They help people who are feeling very low, depressed and suicidal, and they provide a telephone line. You can talk to them 24/7 at any time. They're always open. Then you have Campaign Against Living Miserably. So these are the people who are helping anyone who's experiencing any major hardship. The telephone numbers are clearly on display on that posting. If you're under 5, there is The Mix, and they have specialist advisors who can provide assistance to those people who are of the younger generation and also going through a very rough patch. So just remember, in the course of the week, remember those who are more vulnerable, people who are suffering from some sort of illness or disability or experiencing a mental health issue, and take a moment to think about that. Take a moment, take a deep breather, and remember that any one of us, under certain circumstances, can become mentally ill. We can become disturbed. We can become disabled due to illness, or as we've seen recently with this dreadful SARS virus. And then the consequences of that are phenomenal. They have a major impact on our own life, as well as the lives of our loved ones. That means our partners and family members, and then the wider community as well. And we generally tend not to think about this because it's a natural defense mechanism. We don't want to be thinking of terrible things. We just think about what we like. But sometimes we have got to consider that we can be in that position. It can happen to us. I've given my own example. I mean, a long time a mental professional, somebody had a clinic, and senior consultant psychotherapist, and I caught that dreadful SARS virus before it was properly defined in 2007, and I'm still suffering from the collateral and the consequences even today. It's something dreadful. I hopped on a plane and went to Italy, and there weren't many people flying, just maybe a dozen, maybe a dozen and a half, but the virus was in the plane, and I caught it, and it really affected me. My central nervous system suffered, and I was not able to recover, and I had all kinds of nasty neurological symptoms, from difficulties with walking to abnormal sensations in muscles, dizziness, instability, lack of balance, pains, joints, cramps, you name it. It was just absolutely awful, and I'm still not completely free of it. I still get some of that, but it's many years later. But the main symptoms were absolutely appalling for the first 6 years. So I know what it's like to be one day AAA military fitness, tip-top, doing 12-mile runs and doing everything, and the next minute you're just disabled. You can't do anything because of that illness, because of what the illness did to you. And that is what everyone needs to consider, one way or the other. We're not immortal, we're not invincible, we're all very vulnerable, and under certain circumstances our immune system can also go downhill, and therefore we are more susceptible to viruses and diseases compared to others. And we know what causes it: rat race, day-to-day stress, and lack of sleep, and unhealthy nutrition, and all of that. These are all contributing factors. So anyway, if you are interested, you want to join forces with me and our colleagues, then make sure that you read that posting on my Twitter, and it is coming from Mind. It tells you that this is our Mental Health Awareness Week, and I need to stress that this month of May is an International Mental Health Month, so it's the whole month, it's not just this week. But in Britain, it's linked to this week, and in all the addresses, if you're British, if you're based in Britain, or you are a resident in England or any part of our country, you can resort to these services. You can call them at any time. They provide you with the adequate advice. Right, so just one more bit of news, and we have the games that will be accessible through Game Pass within the next month. So first big game that everybody wants to see and everybody wants to play is Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga, and there's been a lot of controversy in recent days, I have to say, about the lack of marketing for this game. And people who are in the know said, well, seems to me like Microsoft are expecting that because it was a huge success previously, everyone will jump on the title, and I think that's probably the case. I particularly like the game as it tackles the issues linked to mental health, and it's the only game that maybe one of the only products within the entertainment industry that I've seen, and I've seen very many, that captures what it's like to be mentally ill. And it's ultra realistic, so I think for many people playing it, it may be incredibly frightening if you're playing it on high quality headsets, because it does give you the impression of what it's like to be living inside of somebody's head or mind who's experiencing psychosis, and it's terrifying. And I thought that the whole game, when I played it, was in fact somebody's psychosis, somebody who is living the present day age and actually is imagining and living through that sort of nightmare, going to Iceland and defeating all these monsters and all sorts. But cut long story short, the game is out in a few days, so it will be out in May, and definitely I very much look forward to. Already preloaded it, play it on the first day. Then you have Fireworks, and that's another game that can be played on PC. Very enjoyable. I tried it a little while back. Highly recommend it to everyone. Lords of the Fallen. Again, if you like Elder Scrolls, if you're a fan of Dragon Age, you will like Lords of the Fallen. Great graphics, great audio visuals, excellent gameplay, and also they have some new additions and DLCs and inclusions of late. I've watched some trailers and presentations on YouTube, so definitely highly recommend it to everyone. And then we have the Galactica. I've not played the game, so I can't tell you much about it. That's also coming out on cloud PC and Xbox Series X and S. Then we have Moving Out 2, Humanity, Hund, Chance of... is this Stennar or is this Stennar? And then we have NHL 24, which is on cloud. EA release, very popular hockey game. So lots of games and lots of titles and lots of... a lot for us to look forward to, right? And just like I said before, if you are on Game Pass, just make sure that you are accessing some new titles either on cloud or by downloading, and you will be supporting both the publisher and the developer, and you will support the platform. They'll see that people are interested in the use. Recently, they've had a significant drop on the number of new subscribers, which I think is understandable. The platform's been around for a while, and they have not made it accessible in all countries, so just a limited number of countries that have access to it for the ultimate subscription. They said that they're planning to expand, but that's like a really happening rather slowly, and we need to support the effort. I think it's critical. We don't want to lose that platform for the games which are offered, and it's just of a tremendous value to anyone who's a serious gamer or anyone who's involved professionally in the industry, being able to pay that subscription and then just click and play and download and pull out your phone and try some of the simpler games on cloud through Android or iOS is just absolutely astonishing. So I really love the idea. All right, my friends, I think that's all I have for you today. It's been a weekend with, I guess, a few news coming our way, but we talked about Destiny, we talked about our community members, and unanswer some of the questions. I couldn't answer the questions which are, I guess, all based on the developer's intentions. It's not possible to predict, and as you know from my sessions here and from my podcasts and streams, I don't like relying on rumor. I get every day so many postings on Twitter from various hubs indicating that this is the likelihood, this is the possibility, we suspect. Well, we want to have the information coming from the developer to be absolutely certain that that's exactly what will happen. There's nothing worse than building up the expectation of something that is completely unreal or unrealistic or non-existent. A huge disappointment if you're expecting something to happen in a game and then it's simply not there. You know, it's not there because the developer was not even planning for it. Yet the rumor had been spread, as has been the case with The Last of Us 2. You've heard, you're familiar, they had a rumor about the position of Joel in the story, and everyone anticipated that the rumor was the fact, and actually it wasn't. So therefore there had been some difficulties at the very beginning, but nevertheless, ever since, the game sold in very, very big fashion. One of the best-selling games of all time on PlayStation, and we've had a series which still are, the episodes are still very popular and rotating on various streaming platforms. So, you know, at the end of the day, it was a huge success. But just I have a problem with this rumor versus the fact. I talked about it quite a bit, and, you know, keep it in mind. Anyway, so that's all I have for you today. So I want to say, first of all, thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much for supporting the channel and my new format, which is based on podcasting of news and various other subjects and topics. Thank you for sending us your messages of support and indeed providing all the other assistance. Greatly appreciated. Just keep them coming, you know, share and post and like and do whatever whenever you feel like it, when you're, you know, before you go to bed, when you want to introduce some interesting games to some of your friends. You're going to bring in some Destiny veterans here, perhaps associated with some other channels or other platforms. You know, all good. Whenever you feel like it, just click, and we are all going to be very, very grateful. So, as it's such a nice day outside, I'm going to be doing some serious strolling, have my dinner in my neighboring town, and I'll be enjoying this wonderful weather. So on that note, I advise you to do exactly the same if you live in my local area, if you're in Britain or England. Enjoy the hot weather, have fun, play some games at night before going to bed, and I shall see you all tomorrow, and take care.